What's up, y'all? It's Nifty Q. That's Gifted. We're here with a special Thanksgiving daily rehash. It is going to be the last one of the week. I want to wish you personally out there, you watching, a happy Thanksgiving to your friends, your family, your loved ones. This is going to be the last daily rehash of the week. Excited to be here. Gif, a lot to get to with CZ, Binance, all this drama. But I'm happy to be sitting here with you, man.
Absolutely, man. And we're thankful this week to be sitting here with y'all before we take a little break ski. But yeah, hopefully y'all are ready to strap in. There's a lot to cover. We got the top 10 stories from Web3 from the last 24 hours in just 10 minutes. Let's go, Q. What's up first?
All right, we bid adieu to CZ here. This is his final note. He actually says funds are Seifu in this announcement, by the way, but we do have CZ being fined personally $50 million. We have Binance being charged almost $4 billion by the Department of Justice here. There was about an hour-long conference to talk about essentially the U.S. regulators coming down on Binance. So, this is a big story on the day. I do have a quick summary from Hasaka that I somehow lost on my screen here. But Gif, what are your thoughts here on this big news? I mean, this was a OG. He was one of the few remaining from the 16 cycle. We saw Arthur Hayes get lost too. So yeah, just another one bites the dust here.
I think it's interesting to see the positive sentiment around him. He's been kind of a controversial figure in a lot of ways, but it seems like a lot of people are contrasting him to SPF and how he went out, and a lot of people feeling like he's kind of sacrificing himself for the good of the larger crypto industry here. So I don't know. It remains to be seen. Still a lot to see how this falls out. You see there's the Coinbase response that we'll read here in a bit. So there's a lot to unpack here. Honestly, I think we'll be following this.
And here's a TLDR from Hasaka. Basically, no public statements allowed is the last one, but wait, CZ made a public statement there on X. But you can see no involvement in Binance for 3 years, appointing an independent compliance monitor, and those big fines. So we'll see where this goes. I lean bullish on this for the space moving forward.
Yeah, there was a Bankless point out that Janet Yellen did say this is not meant to stop cryptocurrency in the US somehow. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But anyway, we'll keep following that as it unfurls. I don't know. All right, it's breaking. All right, what next story? Speaking of unfurling, God, worst segue ever. All right, Blast is blasting off a new L2 from Paradigm, from the Blur team and Pac-Man. Of course, they had to do something to keep the party going. They couldn't just let any of that liquidity that they were airdropping from the Blur season 2 escape. They couldn't just let their token get absolutely sold into the ground. So they had to come up with a new thing. And so now we have the first L2 with native yield. Shots for every time that you hear somebody say native yield, Q.
Yeah, we'll see. Some people were claiming Pac-Man's one of the best builders in the space with this Blast release. We don't really need another layer 2 protocol, but there's some interesting yield portions of this where you get like automatic kind of compounding yields from ETH staking, and you get to earn points at the same time. I think this is adding up the cards. Essentially, when we talk about a house of cards, you're essentially stacking risk on top of risk. You're using one token to farm another, and usually that doesn't end well for the ecosystem. For the most part, man.
Yeah, there's got to be some substance and product underneath all the Ponzi-nomics here, so we'll see.
All right, I've got the next piece here, and it's going to be Blast related. This is the Blur airdrop that definitely got overshadowed by the CZ news here. We had $100 million dropped into the market here. And, a lot of people were thinking, hey, this is going to move into NFTs. This is going to move and be positive for floor prices. Well, really, with the Blast release, this shows to not be good for a majority of NFT projects. Most people, I think, are selling to try to chase the yield for those Blast points there. But yeah, Machi Big Brother, Hanwei were big farmers of season 2. Hanwei came out pretty good, I believe, about 8.5 million in Blur points. Machi Big Brother, on the other hand, had a not so nice thing to say about Pac-Man. I think he lost about $14 million in net losses there. And yeah, just shows you not all farming is going to get you a positive gain on the other side.
No, man, this is a risky game. And I keep feeling as, they're so good at spinning up these new plates and getting, growth hacking and FOMOing people into some new token or farming scheme. And I keep feeling more and more like we're the ones getting farmed, not the farmers. That's just like a sentiment, like personal anecdote. I don't know, man. It's hard to see people who, bet on these things and then get their asses absolutely like they just lose tons of money doing it. But I think we also speculated on that being the truth too. We've been saying that Paradigm's profiting, but is anybody else really? Yeah. Anyway, well, again, all this is breaking. We'll keep following this as it kind of unfolds over the coming days and weeks. But here you go. This is kind of a follow up to what we were talking about with the CZ news. We are going to also be seeing a lot of fallout from this. People coming out, sharing opinions, sharing thoughts. People like Brian Armstrong, of course, CEO of Coinbase, who did take to the X platform with a very heartfelt message. I think the part that you were highlighting there is that Americans should not have to go offshore to offshore unregulated exchanges, that is, to benefit from this tech. And he says this industry should be built right here in America in a compliant way under US law. We are going to stay here in the US because we believe in economic freedom and that the democratic system will eventually get this right. So Brian Armstrong there with a pretty serious note.
Yeah, eventually get this right is the part that I get lost in, right? Like, what's going to need to happen to have our regulators be non kind of archaic and kind of old school with the rules that they're throwing at an industry that moves at a breakneck pace? I don't know what that looks like, but Brian Armstrong, a lot like CZ, has been a good steward for this space. So yeah, big flowers to him. I've got a FrenTech update here. So FrenTech has been in its biggest capitulation event of its life up to this point. It's gone through a few different cycles, but this capitulation, I can tell you, even personally on my and anecdotally, yes, like we are seeing a lot of sell-offs. My keys have been sold off massively by a lot of people that are fully capitulating. This is a great thread, and we'll have the detailed description below with the link and stuff like that. But one of the reasons why this has been such a bad capitulation event is because the team has not come through with any good reasoning around their releases. So they took away Sybil bots and all these pieces farming, and then they added it back. And Racer's just not been good with his communication.
Yeah, it's another example of spinning up these sort of DeFi Ponzi-nomic schemes without a good enough product. I mean, the app's been trashed. They've been trying to ship updates, but it hasn't been enough. And at the end of it, you have really a bunch of people trying to farm. And if people lose that interest, or there's other, greener pastures, like now there's a million other places, then how do you keep those people in? You got to have a really sticky product. And a lot of them just don't have enough of that there, man. But anyway, I hope FrenTech does well. I hope they can figure it out. And here's a project that we keep talking about right now. It's doing cool things. That's Cool Cats. You can see here some really, really cool drawings from this new animation. It's so cool to see how they're building out this world here. And one of the best and coolest ways for PFPs and different types of especially illustrated IP in the NFT space to come to life and express themselves is through awesome high quality cartoons. So what they're doing is they're basically front running their Macy's partnership, the release of their merch in the stores and everything happening around the big Macy's Day Parade with a couple of these little animated shorts. This is the first one, and it's actually really fun, really well done. It's very family friendly, very PG, but it's actually pretty cool.
Cool Cats is undoubtedly doing the right things and is on the right path when it comes to the direction of the project. For a long time, you couldn't say that, and now they're actually releasing things that the community is really liking, and they have some momentum.
Yeah, and this one's all around coffee, so it makes me think that there's going to be some like Cool Cats branded coffee going in Macy's. I don't know, but I'm excited to see more.
All right, this is a quick announcement here. Some flowers for Big Time. They were able to sell 6,000 boxes at $350 each. Basically, loot boxes for their ecosystem. Big Time Studios is definitely one to keep an eye on. The token is down 13% here in the last 24 hours, but I would bet on big time. This is not financial advice, but they definitely have a solid game there, that MMO RPG that they're releasing, and a really solid team that's been releasing some cool stuff.
Yeah, this is one that's come across our desk a couple times that we've mentioned and covered. I'm just really not deep into it, so I can't say much, but congratulations to them and anybody else who is betting big on big time there. Looking very positive, and so we'll keep trying to track that. Here's a quick one, another new interesting project that actually came on the GM Web3 morning show, Kittyenu DAO. They have an NFT project drop right now called Collective with a K. You can see that here. So Kittyenu is an IP, Web3 native IP, but they're doing things different than most NFT projects or Web3 native brands, where they've actually started with the product and more of the broader, higher up the funnel, more accessible touch points like fungible tokens, like a DAO, and even a game. Apparently they have like a Mario Kart game. Again, we're just getting into it. But they started with those more sort of accessible layers, and now they're going deeper down the funnel to the more exclusive NFT PFP with these really interesting they're 3D avatars, and they are fully rigged. They're metaverse ready. So anyway, it's just cool. And it was awesome getting to connect with Anna, the founder. This project actually looks pretty legit. And so we're going to start to tap into it. But it's important to know this mint is only 0.06, and it does close on Thursday. Whatever the supply is at, it's going to close this Thursday. So you've only got another couple days if you are interested in getting in on this collective drop.
Super interesting timing here, ending it on Thanksgiving. But I will agree with you, Gif. It was cool to talk with the team. I think the team passes the sniff test with what they've been able to build. They have a DAO with, I believe, $1 million in their treasury, and have also partnered with Jonah Blake, who's a big-time Web3 gaming kind of creator over there. And they have some, obviously, game leanings here. So I like it. All right, I'm going to stay heavy on the gaming piece real quick and talk about this upcoming Ubisoft game, Champion Tactics and Grimoire Chronicles. You see the Mochaverse / Animoca Brands partnership here. There's some details in the actual tweet, but basically, here it is. Safe word, Animoca Brands working with Champion Tactics, working with Ubisoft, and they're going to collaborate together.
Yeah, my safe word is pineapple, but yours is Animoca Brands. We know that. And look, I need to figure out how to get in on this. I do not want to fade another free mint from a legit gaming studio like we did with the Zynga Sugartown one. So I'm intrigued. And yes, the safe words do not hurt at all. All right, last one. We got to do it. Jiwa also came on from Intent.art. He's got an Art Blocks Presents drop. We're super fucking excited for our guy. He's from the community. He's an OG from both the Nifty Castle and the Web3 network. And he's got an absolutely beautiful project called Axos that's dropping on the 27th. It's limited to 400 something. I'm going to get it wrong, but about 400 pieces. Its Dutch auction starts at 2 ETH and then comes down. But the alpha, the most important part is that if you have some of the early Intent.art pieces, specifically Dissipation, and then what's the other one? One other. I'm fucking it up. Neo Vita, I think it is.
We'll have it in the description as well.
But if you have either of those two early projects, you can actually get this for 0.05, which is the floor price starting on Friday. There's a pre-sale list of just 50 places for those early projects. So shout out Jiwa, shout out Axo. That is happening soon, and we're just so proud of our friend.
Dude, another project and another artist that we were able to talk to while their mint was live or about to be live. Really cool to be with him live while we interacted with his piece, because basically if you pull it up, the actual piece itself, you could like click a certain amount of buttons and the piece reacts to that in a way.
Interactive.
In a really, really cool way. So
the art is in the code. It's future proofed. It scales. It's beautiful, man. So shout out Jiwa, and shout out to y'all for joining us here. Last daily rehash of the week. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Q, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, a sad day, man. CZ for the longest time has been a leader in this space, and he was one of the main kind of characters when I first came in. So definitely want to give a bit of due there to maybe one of the biggest stewards and most popular stewards of this space. Hopefully he lands on his feet. I'm sure he will. And I hope you guys land on your feet this week as well. Happy Thanksgiving. You guys rock. Our vibe, our tribe.